going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Last video we got everything put in the car to mock up our intercooler piping. You see that's what we came up with, and we did all this. We put everything in there and did all that because we were waiting on some exhaust parts, and those came in. We got our flex joints, V-band clamps, got a bunch of little stainless pie cuts and stuff just in case we need them. So this video we're going to go ahead and get all that stuff back out of the car, get everything out of our way, start mocking or finish mocking up the T4 flange to our headers. That way we can get the engine back out of the car, take care of all the stuff we need to do, like clean up some of the holes I put in the apron where I don't need to, where I started moving a bunch of stuff around. We got to weld up the brace on that apron as well, the little lip we cut off. Just weld that up to reinforce it. Get the bung welded into the oil pan for our turbo drain. But before I can do all that, I'll just get myself set up, get all this stuff back out of the car, and continue mocking up our exhaust. Alright, got everything back out of the engine compartment there. As you can see, there's our flange. Got all my parts set up over here. Went ahead and drug the welder out as well, got it closer to the car. We're going to go ahead and set the camera up, go through all these little guys here, try to figure out the best way to place them that still allows me to get to the V-bands to pull the turbo out if I need to in the future, but it's still and also give me enough room that I'm not running into anything when I go to take that this header out, this passenger side header out. Even though it's a lot of work, I still got to undo the other side, tilt the engine, all the other neat stuff. But that, and also make sure that when I put these guys in, they don't run into each other. They have enough room where they're not like spread apart or rub in. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and get the camera set up, start mocking up those little pieces. Once I figure out how I want, once I figure out how I want them laid out, I'll go ahead and tack weld them into place, make sure everything looks good before I pull it all out and weld them up with the TIG. So let's do it. Wave hi, Jake. Got this guy playing around on his go-kart. Just lowered the seat an inch and a half. Gonna take it around the yard real quick. Yeah. Look at him go. Yeah. They're just out here playing while I'm in there working on the old Mustang, but we'll get back to work now. So I'll get the camera set up, start mocking up some exhaust. Alright, got our pipes all mocked up, got our flex joints in place. See, we got the V-band clamps installed. Everything's tacked up pretty much where I want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the radiator installed. Make sure it clears the 90s right here, which it should. That's, I mean, I based those 90s off the radiator, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it in. Double check just in case. Then I'm going to install my... Oh, we'll change the back housing out on the turbo. This is the one I'm going to use. We're going to take this one off. We'll get that installed. And then I want to make a bracket, show you guys, to kind of put where this flange is at. So I want to make a bracket from here. Comes off the bottom of these two holes. Kind of goes into the apron right here, and it'll be sandwiched with another plate on the back side. And then make another bracket as well for down here to tie into the frame rail. That way it helps support the turbo since we got the flex joints in place now. I don't want to just kind of make it a little more solid. Don't want to bounce it around too much. Those felt like it would hold the turbo, but just give it a little extra support. There's no reason I can't do it. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get myself set up, get the radiator put back in, get the housing switched out on the turbo, and then see about what I need or take some measurements and start making our brackets. All right, we got the housing switched out on our turbo. We got the turbo assembly installed. Got the radiator in, and got our clearances checked. Show you right down here between the radiator and the exhaust. Got roughly about a ½ an inch of clearance. I'm going to put some of that header wrap around it to kind of keep the heat away from the radiator fan. It's a little close, but I think it'll be all right as long as I put some of that heat shield on there. We also got the bracket made for our turbo. As you can see the back side there on the apron, and we'll come up here to the front. If you guys can see it, but it's just underneath the flange there. So we got that one installed. I do want to make one more bracket that's going to go on the bottom of that whole setup right there and bolt to the frame rail to kind of help stiffen the bottom up a little bit. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to get everything on there welded up and then put back in the car and then have that then make that bracket for it. But I can do that later. Right now she's in there pretty good. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's shaking the car around. But I do want to add one more support. At this point, I'm still waiting for a fitting for my oil pan so I can check the how I want to route that for our oil drain on the turbo. But as it looks right now, it looks like everything's going to be just fine. So what I'm going to do at this point, we're going to go ahead and get everything, get the radiator back out of the car. I'll grab my little welder and see what I can weld up right now as it sits before I pull that out, get what I can, and then we will get the turbo assembly out, get the headers out, get everything out, and get ready to pull this engine out of the car. So get myself set up, weld up what I can, and start pulling everything out. All right, got welded up what I could, or what I could reach comfortably. Got everything out of the car, got the headers out, radiators out, turbo. Basically, it's just a bare engine in there, a bare long block, nothing attached to it. I have one motor mount bolt in there and 4 bolts to the bell housing, all hand tight. Next video, we'll be pulling this engine out and be cleaning up our apron right there. I'll be rounding that hole out a little bit better. All the little circles you see, like that one, all the ones with the silver circle around it, I'll be welding up because I'll no longer need them. We'll be rounding some of these edges out here, kind of cleaning up the corners, making it look a little bit more presentable. Also be welding up the lip there on the shock tower where we cut the end off to clear our header. Installing new motor mount bolts and putting a drain in our oil pan for our turbo. And oh, while I have it out, I'll show you guys what the header looks like out of the car. And there's our passenger side header, all tacked together. I mean, there's got quite a bit of welding. I got the T4 flange strapped to it, or V-band to it right now. That way later when I get to it, I can weld it all up. When I get back, as you can see how big it is in comparison to what it was before when we started. So definitely a lot of moving around and modification had to be done to that header, but it seems to fit. Turbo bolts up, and I think it'll work out real well for us. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. Like I said, next video we'll be yanking this engine out, fixing the apron, welding up the shock tower, putting a drain in the oil pan, and getting ready basically to put it right back in the car. Hopefully for the last time. At that point, after we get everything cleaned up, we'll be on a downward slope to getting this thing fired up. Can't wait to hear it run. I know some of you guys can't either. But like I said, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you guys for hanging out and helping me build this channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button for me. Definitely share with your friends. And yeah, it's just been a whole lot of fun hanging out with you guys. My kids like to hang out up here too. Is that right, Jake? Yep. And Seth, yeah. Little Bailey. They're up here hanging out with me as well. And yeah, just thank you guys for hanging out. And catch you on the next one.